random computer junk continues to pile up unabated. What we're going to look at here is that right there. Let me go ahead and get it out of its hiding place here. Here it is. Yet another one of these beige Dells. Formerly an FTP server, apparently. Not anymore. See if I can get this sticker off without it ripping. Probably not. By golly, I actually did it. So, anyway, you can see it's kind of a little dirty, but it's been sitting around probably for years now, not doing anything, sunning itself in the sessional lecturer's office at work. And we're finally at the point where we need to clear that out because we're going to start using it for other things. And this was one of the casualties. Another one was this right here, which will be featured in a computer build video at some point. Just a little bit of a sneak peek at this thing. It's actually a rack mount server case. I believe it's 2U, technically. Because you can see he's got the 3 screws there. So, yeah, I believe that would be a 2U rack mount case. But obviously I don't have the rack mounts for it. I don't know where it came from, what it was, when it was purchased, etc., etc. But the hardware in it works, but it's really kind of too old for me to use for anything practical. So it's going to get gutted and it's going to become the basis of a server case replacement, basically. But anyway, back to this thing. This is a Dell Optiplex model GXA, which is a model I had no idea existed. Pentium 2 with MMX, designed for Microsoft Windows NT, or Windows 90, does that say 95 or 98? 95. So, it's older than I thought. I don't think it's got any kind of product key on it anywhere, but it's one of these. I guess they called this the Slim desktop back in the day, with only one 5.25-inch bay, and of course a floppy drive. That was basically a requirement for computers back then. Especially if you wanted to install Windows 95, since most versions of Windows 95 required the use of a floppy drive. Now, this might be a little bit difficult to see because of the lighting in here, but Aztec Systems, there's a modem right there. The light from this monitor being on actually kind of helps. So there's line in, line out microphone, Ethernet, diagnostic LEDs. There is the VGA, serial, is that 2 USB? Yep, it's 2 USB, PS2. That's actually the primary serial, this is the second one. And a parallel port right there. And then the power supply. I've showed several of these before. I have a GX110 in this basically exactly the same case. I have a GX1. I have another GX110 in the bigger case. I've got a GX1P. And I'm trying to think if I have any other beige Dells. I don't think I've got any other beige Dells. I know I had a GX200 for a while, but it didn't work. Or I picked up a GX200 and it turned out that it didn't work. I know I've got a GX400, which is basically the same kind of deal, except in a gray case. That's slightly different with our DRAM. It's Pentium 4 design. But this is a Pentium 2. Dell was very fond of this design. They used it for a long time. So I'm going to see if I can pop off the cover. Probably can't do that with one hand. But look at that. Wonders never cease. I'll pull that out. We'll set it somewhere out of the way. And then we'll take a closer look at this. I still have the hard drive. Check out those massive capacitors in there. Looks like they're all good. The RAM is fully populated. It looks like that's a little broken, but it probably still works just fine. This is the riser. You could get this in several different types. I believe that is what sets the different models apart, is that the base system is pretty much exactly the same in all of these. In all of these, But the difference is this riser, because they would have used the same motherboard in the desktop cases as well. So, sorry, the tower cases, the desktop and the tower cases. Sort of like what Dell was doing later on as well with their machines. Anyway, there's the 2 parallel ATA channels. This does not use any 80-pin, 80 conductor cables. That's kind of interesting. It looks like, I guess that's the onboard Ethernet. And there must have been a design improvement that allowed them to use a smaller QFP chip in there. There's a chipset. I hope this doesn't have a BIOS password, because I don't really want to have to figure out where the password clear jumper is on this. This looks like a rather beefy CPU. It's got a giant fan on it. I don't know if that's original or not. That's like a 60mm fan, which is kind of crazy. And the heatsink is a very neat purple color. Let's see. What are the ratings on this? 80522PX266-512EC. It's an SL2HE. My guess is that it's a Pentium 2 266 with 512K of cache, but you could go ahead and look that up if you so desire. 512K of cache is quite a bit, because there were a lot of Pentium 4s that didn't even have that much. Certainly the Celeron didn't, but then again, this isn't a Celeron. It uses PC-133. I'm not sure if all this RAM is in place or not, because that tab looks like it's out of place. But I'll make the assumption that it is. And again, I'm making the assumption the system actually functions at all, because it could have been discarded because it didn't, or set aside because it didn't. This hard drive is a 20 gigabyte Maxtor model D740X-6L. And if you think that that looks like a quantum hard drive, you'd be absolutely right, because it basically is. I don't know what the story is behind the D740X and the D540X. That was another model that they had. I don't know what the story is, if they were older quantum designs that Maxtor was just bleeding off, or if they were new Maxtor designs, although I guess they weren't really new, but using the existing quantum tooling. Where I don't know if they were produced after the quantum takeover, or at least the quantum hard drive business takeover by Maxtor, but either way, it's there. And again, I'm going to make the assumption that it works, which is probably a bold assumption to be making. I've never powered this on, so I don't know what it does at all. So this could be very exciting in two different ways, or it could just do absolutely nothing at all and be boring. Hopefully it does something exciting. And by that, I mean it actually works and does something cool. And doesn't blow up in my face. Alright, it's plugged in. Let's see what it does. So far, nothing. Oh, geez. Oh, got an angry fan. Control-Alt-Enter for system setup. This is a very old BIOS. GXA 266L EM+. So, yes. That's exactly what that is. 266 megahertz chip. Now, the question becomes, is it going to do anything else? Ouch. Probably wasn't smart. Optical drive ejects. I have an LED down there for some reason. Wonder what it's upset about. What fan is actually making that noise? Oop. Plug and play configuration error. Strike the F1 key to continue, or F2. Go into setup. We got two plug and play errors. Ooh. Wonder what's up. Holy crap. That battery is good. Wow. That's impressive. I am very impressed. Now, obviously, it's the time isn't correct in the slightest. It's not 5:23 in the morning. And I guess by consequence, it's also not Monday, January 23rd. So, but that's a good start. So that's not bad. And it's not completely, not completely bad. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, these were always weird trying to actually configure them. No reserved memory. CPU speed 266. So it's maximum. Alt-P to change pages. I'm not sure why it's complaining about a plug-and-play error. Unless it's related to that PCI card that's right there. So, kind of curious by that. That's kind of weird. I don't think I've seen that. So I just hit escape. No boot device. That didn't make a very happy noise. Kind of wondered. I didn't check how much memory this had in it. If it even told me. Yeah, that sounds like that hard drive is bad. So. Well, again, we got a start here. Yep, there it is. The admission of defeat. Primary hard disk drive 0 failure. So I'm going to pull that out and replace that with something else. Of course, I don't even know how that's going to come out of there. Looks like it's not too bad, though. But it's a start, I guess. Okay, I went ahead and I replaced it with a 6.4. Well, so far it seems to actually work. ATI Rage Pro chipset. I wonder if maybe that was the hard drive that was making all that grinding noise. Kind of interesting. Because I noticed that it completely stopped when I changed the drive. Okay. 3Com PXE. Obviously there's no media plugged in. And now it's trying to boot FreeBSD. Oh, there's that noise again. So yeah, it's probably the CPU fan that was making that awful grinding. This isn't going to boot because this is 64-bit. I'm pretty sure that would be 64-bit, or would require 64-bit. So, I'll have to see if I can find a disk for this. I'm not really sure what I'm going to run on it just yet. Yeah, that would almost certainly require... Yeah, CPU doesn't support long mode. So... yeah. I don't know... I was thinking about putting Windows 2000 on here, but I'm not sure if I'll put Windows 2000 on here, or if maybe I'll use this for something else. Okay. 266 MHz Pentium 2, there's confirmation with 512K of cache. 384 megs of RAM. So I've set the boot order. So with any luck, it will now boot to the CD. Before it was set to boot to floppy, then PXE, then hard drive, then CD-ROM. I don't know why it was set up that way, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. I assume that this disk will actually boot. Again, I don't know. And I left my boot floppy in his computer over in the storage unit. Gosh dang it. So, I won't be doing that. I suppose I could make another one. I have a USB floppy drive here, but I don't want to mess with it, man. Okay. Boot to the CD. This is Windows 2000 setup. So, we'll let it load, and hopefully it will actually work. Okay. Set up Windows 2000. Press Enter. I read that very carefully. Now we delete all this. Delete. Delete. Unpartition space. Format with NTFS. It won't do a quick format, unfortunately. So, I don't know. I guess you just gotta wait for it. I mean, you've seen a Windows 2000 install 1,000 times anyway, so it's not like you need to watch this entire thing from start to finish, but yeah, it's gonna have to format that completely. I wonder if there's an updated BIOS for this that would give me the newer style Dell Splash versus this. I'm kind of disappointed it doesn't show me a memory count. Should get Windows 2000 preparing to start for the first time. Built on NT technology. It's possible that this is another system that I might run USB 5 on. I think I've got a system sitting around somewhere that's got USB 5 on it. I'm not sure yet what I'll do with this. I'm almost certainly going to have to download drivers, which could be real fun in a system like this, where USB support wasn't universal at this point. So, although I might see quite a bit of it, because this does have some mostly standard hardware. It's not like this is an older system, because you can see it says NT in Windows 95, so maybe it's got some of the stuff built in, but okay, Windows setup complete. Pull the disk out here. Finish. And that's that. Should boot straight into Windows 2000. Now, I don't think this has the business audio speaker, so we won't get that, but it'll be interesting to see how much of the rest of it works. Hopefully it's got a video driver, because Dell's website did not for Windows 2000. It definitely takes its sweet time to post. Guess it's got to count up all 384 megabytes of memory and make sure that it's real. I wonder if it'll give me a message saying preparing to start for the first time, because it is preparing to start technically for the first time. Give me the desktop. Yep, it's definitely got a video driver. I don't even know if you can see the cursor there. Okay. Don't really need any user accounts on this. It's a personal machine, so I don't think there was an audio driver either. I think the only thing it gave me was an Ethernet. And I might not even need it, because I think Windows has figured out the Ethernet on its own. Sure has taken it quite a while. Okay, we'll exit that. It does see the Ethernet, and it also sees the audio, it looks like, which is good. Again, this does not have any built-in speaker. should be good as far as everything else is concerned. Device manager. Other than maybe the modem. The modem might not be found, but of course that modem. Oh no, there it is. HCF 56K PCI modem. HCF. No idea what that is, but standard Windows 2000 install. Not much to see here. So, I think that's pretty much it. I've spent too much time yakking about the computer as it is, so we'll shut the video off. Thank you for watching, and if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below. Oh, that's interesting. This does not have a CPI. Huh. I would have thought that it would be new enough for that.